Hey everybody, good morning. This is Sandra Harrick at Unicorn Fields. I am your host today for Coffee, Tea, or Me, and you're listening to my 6 ducks being released for their walkabout this morning. I'm walking around doing a few chores as the sun just comes out. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee, Tea, or Me. And thank you. If you like this page, please click like. If you like what's going on here, please share it. Have a look at my site at sandraharrick.com and know that this is an opportunity for us all to gather and grow. And what I'm going to talk about today is how to find your voice. And here's one of our roosters. His name is Snowball. His son is Buttered Popcorn, so you can imagine what they look like. Okay, let's get to it. It has been a mind-boggling month with politics, with humanity, with the female right and necessity to find a voice, and the masculine energy to listen or back, or listen to how they deny and back the femininity down. This is not a political conversation, and I always really like to put that in quotes, because this is not about the politics. This is about what the presence of what is happening in our lives right now that is so incredibly enormous, exposing the core of, oh God, what could I call it, of reality. It's exposing the core of reality. I'm going to start belching. For anybody who does not know, it's not breakfast. I didn't eat. It's when spirit moves through me. So I will move the phone away and know that Denise Iwana Francisco has changed the format because Believe TV was just not the quality for what we need to do to be visual. So I just want to acknowledge that and know that I will live stream next month when I know what I'm doing. But it feels this is a good time to hear the voice and not necessarily see me, but to hear, to listen, and to know that the voice has a resonance. It has a tempo, that the voice is a way that we use to communicate throughout time in that way of how do we say what's on our minds, or how do we have our minds control what we don't know how to say by clustering all the unsaid things into a ball of energy inside of us that literally gets snagged in our throats, our bodies, develops dis-ease, discomfort, and just because somebody thinks you're not speaking may assume you have nothing to say, when in truth you have everything to say but do not have the confidence or the safety. And I want to say that more than anything, and saying it makes me want to cry, to have the safety and the environment to maintain your safety when you speak. In just a few weeks, I'm going to be 71 years old. So I'm of that era of womanhood that is out of the baby boomers that literally idolized the woman in the home, that a man went out and provided the space, the job, the money financially to have a woman at home, have children. And I mean, there are books that literally say children are to be seen, not heard. And if they don't need to be seen, why look at them? And a wife was there to be dutiful and to be a provider for the environment, for the man to come home and not give him too much information about the day. She literally, there are magazines devoted to, or were devoted to, make him his cocktail, give him his slippers, dress up, smell good, put the kids to bed early, and let him have his peace and quiet. If anything is aware inside you today, is that no longer is the modality. And I am from that generation that literally had the crack in the psyche to say, as a woman, that we were racially, as a gender, literally denied the fairness of equality with men. And so I want to talk about this generation that is happening right now, because you're in the grace of having a voice. You're in the grace and in the graciousness of your generation to know that the pioneering that my generation went through is literally the foundation that you get to stand on. And a lot of you may not know what happened back then to make today even available to have a voice and stand there and practice the reality of your identity in public or even in private at home. As a counselor, as a therapist, as someone who takes that spiritual orb in someone's identity and go into the reflection of their emotional history to find out where they were told to be quiet or how they were stifled or how they were suffocated. And if you tell, then you're the actual enemy to the person who wants you not to tell. And it does become a he said, she said. It becomes a he said. I mean, talk about the Catholic priests. Talk about anybody that had a superior posture over a innocent and made them wrong if they told and accused them of being the liars. It's kind of like how the witch hunt started way back when. And I want to say this in the progression of what does it mean to speak your voice? Does it mean you say it in a whisper? You may have to practice that just to even go through the trauma of all things to even have to acknowledge the trauma of practicing that what you have to say can be spoken. Sitting across from somebody who has something to say and you say it's okay to say it, and to watch them start to sweat, to watch them choke up, gag, cough, to watch them start to tremble or go into that fear of, I can't. I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know how to say what's happening to me. That does not mean there's nothing to say. It means they have not practiced in any way how to feel safe to bring out what is necessary to say, or even the privilege that they have to say it. Just because you're outspoken doesn't mean that you're speaking something that is the truth. We see that right now. If there's a shouting contest, who says it the most, who yells it the loudest, who bats them down or stands the ground and said, no, you're the liar, you're the liar, you're the liar. When somebody who is in the domicile of their soul, speaking with clarity and with a sophistication that says, I know what I'm saying. I have to go very personal here and say I come from a family that generated that dogma of if you were told to keep it a secret, we kept it a secret. If we saw something you weren't supposed to get in trouble and tell, leave it alone. Let sleeping dogs lie. There are family secrets in my family that I really do still choke on. And I choose to have a certain understanding in my own healing that not all things are necessarily a point and complain or an exposure. It is, I know what happened. I know how it happened. I was there when it happened. And I talked to those that it happened to, and we in the family held counsel. And that at some point, I either become vigilant and demand somebody do what I want you to do, or I stand back and know that somebody's going to keep themselves hidden. Somebody's going to keep themselves in that pocket of, I can do what I want, but I don't have to be accountable for anything I do. And if you're at the expense of what I want to do, well, hey, shit happens. We are in a society, we're in a movement that right now, in exposing who we are, by being honest about what is in our life, needs to have the opportunity to practice with someone like a counselor or a friend or a confidant or a partner, to trust that your emotions will be safe when you expose them. When somebody says something at such a depth of visceral honesty that they're choked up and crying and gasping for air. And I know that you are out there. I have been here. And there's times where I can still feel it even now, coming up, welling up inside me and saying, how can I be believed if I'm crying and I am qualified as nonverbal? What does that mean? That means something's inside me, but I am nonverbal. I don't have the way to speak about it, so I think I'm dumb, or that I lack. I self-judge or self-accuse. I don't know what I'm saying. It's in those moments right there, everybody, I offer to you my compassion, my heart, and my patience. And I ask anyone who has this situation in finding your voice, that when you tremble, when your palms sweat, when you break a sweat and your deodorant doesn't work, when tears come and spittle comes and there's a blubbering of overwhelm, that means your body is releasing every single aspect of the fear that had been placed and burdened upon you if you talk. And the innocent being inside of the age that witnessed or experienced when someone did have a hand on your mouth or up your vagina or over your young breasts or on your penis, that you were told to be quiet. You were told if you told you were the bad person. You were told that you were special or that you were someone that had to keep the secret. Otherwise, someone would be harmed, you or others. And when you tell an innocent that, and even if you go and tell, I know many clients that experience child abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, that when they told, the authority, the parent, said, oh, you're making it up. Oh, you're exaggerating. I am victim to that. And I have to own that when I've heard some things in growing up, I accuse someone of that. Because again, there was that time where it's too much to even comprehend the truth. We don't want to. Our disbelief comes in, our denial comes in, and our fear comes in. Sometimes it's important to be able to say what's going on and know that the truth is not going to be heard or listened to or even acted upon. You won't have an advocate. Then you have to be very, very discerning of who you tell the truth to. In my experience, in my first year of being married, in 1969, 67, I started having spousal abuse. And what was so viscerally amazing is that when I did call the police, and the police came into our home, and my ex at that time, my husband at that time, was drunk, was very cavanocious, and I'll say that because drank beer, got belligerent, and a blackout doesn't mean you pass out. A blackout means someone is on full tilt, wide open, completely engaged in their behavior, and have no recollection of it later on. It's an episode that their mind disassociates from because they're so inebriated, their function to remember disconnects. That's a blackout. A pass out is they're immobile and everybody's grateful because they're down. But dealing with that, when the police came, interestingly enough, they saw the bruises. They saw the guitar that was smashed on me. They saw him, and the policeman took me by the hand and looked me in the eye and said, "Honey, we're going to go. Just have more sex. It'll make them happy." Quote, unquote. That's how I was left in the safety of my abuser. So there's that authority of how you need, and did I have a voice then? I gasped. I had a voice in saying, you got to be out of your ever-loving mind. But that's how they left me. And in that moment, the man in the house was given permission to ask for something more and deny me something less. And what I was denied was the safety of my voice being spoken or the safety of my body being treated with respect. I would like to consider that in my lifetime, we are more responsible to having a more respectful quality in humanity than we do. I'm always shocked to see how much violence is still happening in the domestic qualities of home with emotional neglect, emotional abuse, physical neglect, physical abuse, isolation. I had hoped that part of the pioneering that my generation went through, and I can tell you I actually had that voice of thinking we are the ones that will start the change. We did a lot of changing, but society still grants the dominant, but it's not just men on women, it is women on men also. When the dominant figure can control the voice of their victim. God bless Oprah, because she's one of the great people out there in the universe that initially brought sexual abuse to the table and made it very, very public. And God bless all the books that are out there and now the Me Too movement. And the voice is being very well demonstrated because we are out in droves saying what we need to say, and yet the patriarchal society says, up yours, we're moving forward, and you are not respected, you are accused, you are diminished, you are demeaned, you are ridiculed. So that means the voice, that means the person with the voice, doesn't necessarily shut up. It means we need to have another avenue, another way to go to where the voice is listened to. And make it clear that you're speaking, even if it's a few words or one. Help. Listen to me. I'm confused. My heart breaks because there's that trauma that's going on in our society right now that is even within myself. I'm completely restimulated by all these things that have happened in public, and it allows me, and I will say it, to look at the superior courts and go, if this person is in that courtroom, then how can I trust the courts? How can I trust a man that told everybody in public, you're wrong, I'm right, I can be an asshole, but you're not going to be respected? I think what's good about it, and I will voice this, is this may be the camel, and I'm waiting for the straw. And it's not about the political aspect of who's right, who's wrong. It's about seeing and believing the facial expressions of someone who has spittle, denying the reality of someone who is calm. It is the voice of reason versus the voice that has been inspired, do the old game. Knock them down, hold them down, make them wrong. Women and men around the world that are traumatized by this are traumatized for a very good reason. Because we need to shake loose what is still so viscerally captive in our systems, in our histories, in our childhood, in our lives, in our current day. And know that there is a venue for you to come and find your voice. And it may not be in the privacy of your home, but that you can seek help at hotlines. You can seek help with co-counseling. You can seek help by listening to yourself. If you have to scream, get a pillow, put it over your mouth and scream, and just practice the volume of your reasoning having to have an emotion. Back in the late 70s, I did a program with someone. I learned how to do co-counseling. And co-counseling was a 2-on-2 where you sat with a friend and you went through new and goods. What's new and good? Well, I got my nails done. Small upsets. Well, my nails got smudged, to large upsets, to, I hurt. And so it's an opportunity for you to use your voice, practice your voice, and even be aware that sometimes we can't go right to the core. We need to be guided into it. We need to kind of walk around it and befriend it and see what it has to say. We need to be given the patience to even allow what we have to say. Know that it's time to say it, that we evoke it, we invite it into the courage that we're feeling we finally have, or we're joining and thinking, yeah, me too, I'd like to say something too. Sometimes we have to close our eyes and squint them really, really hard and talk really fast. Just get the truth out. There's that place of the throat. Let me go to the throat. The throat is where that chakra of the voice is located. This is that spiritual space of, let's take a look of what your throat does when you want to speak. Anything that's going on inside you, from your gut, your stomach, your nervous system, your adrenaline, activates and radiates. And if you don't let it up and out, it will stay inside and fester or run through you and become a disorder, a physiological disorder. It's a known fact. And there is that place of, in the throat, if you put your hand, your dominant hand, over your throat gently, and let your throat become safe, offer it comfort, offer it a caress, and even practice, if you can't say it, practice thinking it. I know the truth. I know the truth. Because sometimes when we don't say it, we disbelieve the fact that we know it. Or, again, just like in the beginning of the show, when you don't say it, somebody goes, see, you don't know anything. I'm asking everybody to put their hand over their throat, over, just above your heart to your throat. And breathe so that your throat can feel the safety of your breath. Your hand can feel the safety of your breath. People shallow breathe. That's because they don't know how to inhale, because they're not safe enough to expand energy down there. It's like you're struggling to keep it down. And that breath brings you down into a place that needs oxygen, that needs to be revealed, that needs to become alive. Little steps, little steps. When you feel the warmth of your hand on that place between your throat and your heart, then as you breathe, you can feel your hand elevate up and go down. And if you can't, that means you're shallow breathing so intensely that you can't experience your body inhaling or exhaling. That's an amazing consequence of having to suffocate what you know and not express the truth. So to find your breath, to find your voice, to allow your voice is really the gentle act of self-care. Desiring to care for a place within inside yourself that brings the self-respect of, I will allow myself to not judge me, brings up my own material. Or listen to how I'm judging myself and see it through the lens of the abstract rather than the convincing. Oh, look at how I'm judging myself. Wow, isn't that interesting? Oh, look at what I'm saying. Why would I say that? Oh, look, I'm starting to have a tremor, or I'm starting to stop breathing. And that's when you put a little pressure on your chest and say, I'm okay. It's as powerful as the reassurance of a kind adult or another, because it can be a child, that offers the first act of compassion to reach out and to touch and to connect and feel that you are not alone, and reassure you when they look down and peek into your eyes. It's okay. Are you okay? It's okay. I'm here. And so it's a very interesting process to know that you are now being solicited by your soul, your spirit, and your body. You're being invited to activate the self-soothing that is really required for us to feel that we're not alone. Because we're here. We're here with ourselves if we allow ourselves to be. We don't have to disappear or isolate or go nonverbal. We can gently explore, journal. A voice is in writing, journal. A voice is in art. Do something artistic. It doesn't mean you have to talk. It means you get to express. Listen to music, create music. What are the sounds that you require to feel the rhythm inside your body? Feel expression to make you move. To find your voice means you find a energy, a vibration, an octave, a frequency, a mirror of sound or touch and action that collaborates with you in the tenderness of knowing or the boldness of experiencing. This is my sound. This is how I vibrate sound. I'm going to continue these conversations, and I really respect the fact that I'm given the respect by you to come and listen, to have you email me or to chat with me. My email is sandraharrick@me.com. If you have any comments or you'd like to talk this over further, please come to my site, sandraharrick.com. But most importantly, go to the mirror and take a look at yourself today and just let yourself know, I'm here. I have a voice and I'm ready. It is a wonderful thing to be here, and I'll see you next month. Please watch the Facebook, Coffee, Tea, and Me, also with Denise Iwana Francisco. She has all of the programs that I share with her there, and there's many ways for you to find us, share us, and communicate the sounds of you. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you for being here. I'm Sandy Harrick. Have a great day.